You know that kid who never caused trouble? The one who did their homework without being asked, who noticed when adults were tired, who learned to stay quiet when the room felt heady. Maybe that kid was you. Picture this, you're small, sitting on the edge of your bed, listening to voices through the wall. Someone is angry, someone is crying. You don't fully understand what's happening, but you understand one thing clearly. Things are not okay. And somehow, without anyone saying it, you feel like it's your job to make things better. So you grow up a little that night. Not on your birthday, not with candles and cake, but quietly, in the dark, while everyone else is busy falling apart. And something clicks inside you. You start watching instead of playing. You start listening instead of speaking. You start being careful. You smile more. You ask for less. You become easy. Not because life is easy, but because you don't want to make it harder for anyone else. It's like your childhood slowly steps back and responsibility steps in. A child with adult worries, a small body carrying big silence. And the world loves this version of you. They say you're so mature, so responsible, so strong for your age. Teachers trust you, family depends on you, friends lean on you. And on the outside, it looks like success. But inside, something feels tired. Something feels unseen. Because no one ever asked what you needed while you were being everyone else's piece. Psychologists call this parentification. It's when a child starts taking care of emotions that were never meant to be theirs. Not just chores, not just helping out, but feeling responsible for keeping adults okay, for keeping the house calm, for being the one who doesn't add stress. And when that happens, the brain learns something very early. Stay alert, stay useful, stay needed, because safety depends on it. Your nervous system doesn't grow up thinking the world is safe. It grows up thinking the world must be managed. But here's the part that matters. Children don't choose this. Children adapt. Kids will do almost anything to keep connection with the people they depend on, even if that means shrinking themselves, even if that means becoming what the room needs instead of who they really are. It's not a weakness, it's survival, it's intelligence, it's the brain doing its best with what it's given. So what does that look like when that child becomes an adult? Maybe you're very independent, but secretly tired of being strong. Maybe you're the one everyone talks to when they're struggling, but you don't know how to talk about your own pain. Maybe you feel guilty resting, guilty saying no, guilty needing anything. Maybe you work hard, help everyone, stay calm, and then crash alone at night, wondering why you still feel empty even when life looks fine. Let me ask you something. How old are you and where are you watching from right now? Drop it in the comments. I really want to know who's here with me tonight. For many people who grew up too fast, calm feels strange. Peace feels unfamiliar. When things are quiet, the mind starts searching for problems. Because your nervous system learned that chaos was normal, that stillness meant something bad might be coming. So even when life gets better, the body doesn't fully believe it. Stress feels normal. Rest feels unsafe. It's not that you like anxiety, it's that your system doesn't know who you are without it. And that fantasy you might carry, the one where someone finally notices you're not okay, where someone says, you don't have to be strong right now. That fantasy isn't about romance or attention, it's about the child in you who never got to fall apart, who never got to be held when things were too big to handle. Healing doesn't start with fixing yourself, it starts with finally seeing what happened. Because a lot of people say, it wasn't that bad, or others had it worse, or I turned out fine. But fine can be a costume. Fine can be what you learned to say when no one had time for your truth. And Carl Jung once said that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. In other words, until you see your survival patterns, they keep running your relationships, your choices, your self-worth, quietly in the background. Shadow work isn't about becoming darker, It's about finally letting yourself feel what you never had time to feel. The sadness, the anger, the loneliness you swallowed so everyone else could breathe. And yes, it can hurt, but that pain isn't new. It's just finally being heard. You might notice it in your adult life in strange ways. You might be the fixer in every relationship, but still feel resentful. You might struggle with setting boundaries because saying no feels like rejection. You might overgive, over-explain, overthink, and still feel like you're not enough. Strong but sensitive, calm but anxious, independent but lonely. These aren't personality flaws. They are old strategies from a younger you who just wanted things to be okay. One of the most powerful questions you can ever ask yourself is this: what did I need back then that I never got? Maybe you needed safety. Maybe you needed comfort. Maybe you needed permission to be messy, loud, tired, human. And slowly, gently, you start giving those things to yourself now. You rest without guilt. You say no without explaining your whole life story. You choose relationships where you don't have to earn your place. This is how you stop looking for parents in partners. This is how you stop confusing anxiety with intuition. This is how you start living instead of managing life. The past wasn't your choice, but what you do with it now, that is. You didn't become strong because you wanted to. You became strong because you had to. And now, you get to choose softness. You get to choose care. You get to choose a life that doesn't run on survival anymore. So if you were a child who grew up too fast, hear this. Nothing was wrong with you. You were just too young to be that brave. But now, you don't have to keep proving anything. You get to rest. You get to feel. You get to become whole, not perfect. Like a lighthouse that stood through storms for years, you don't need to keep fighting waves to prove your strength. You're allowed to shine in calm waters too. If this felt like it was written for you, tell me in the comments, did you grow up fast, or are you just now realizing you did? And if this kind of deep psychology speaks to you, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay with me. We talk about the parts of you that never got to speak before. You don't have to carry everything alone anymore.